Armed robberies can happen anywhere. Thugs most often rob me at knife point while I walk down the street. Sometimes I would see people in the distance with a nasty look on their face while walking up to me. Then they would produce a knife. Sometimes I would see people with a smile on their face walk toward me as if they were asking directions. Then they would produce a knife at the last minute. You should also prepare for a robbery that could take place at any establishment. I have outlined the tactics if you are walking in a public place and a robber is approaching. The number one tactic is to try escaping by either walking across the street or down a side street. Look for an open restaurant or any other type of business. Do not go down driveways or alleys where it's more convenient for the robber to rob you without anybody watching. Robbers prefer to get you alone or where people are not watching. I doubt someone would rob you when you are in a large crowd of people. If you are getting ready to walk into a store, such as at the mall, wait until other people are passing your car. Then get out quickly and join behind them as they walk in all together. When you are leaving such an area, try to leave with a group of people who are walking past your car. Another scenario would be someone robbing a store while you are there. Whenever I go in any type of store, I automatically check the exits. I check the front door and the back door. I look around to see who is in the store at the time I enter. If I do not like the looks of who is in the store, I go back to my car. If I am in a store or restaurant and someone comes in that I do not like the looks of, I go to my car. For example, I was recently in a drugstore when I saw two thugs enter the drugstore. They immediately started walking back toward the pharmacist. I sensed by the way that they were acting, there was a good chance they may hold up the store for drugs. I took a break and went out and waited in my car until they left, which was about 5 minutes. I may do this 1,000 times in my life and nothing may happen. It is just a safety precaution to make sure I am not in the store when a robbery occurs. I watched the self-defense films which showed the good guy shooting it out with a criminal robbing a store. Do I want to get myself into a police investigation, possible prosecution, and civil action against me? Of course not. If I got in a situation such as a store robbery, I would have already seen where the back exit was located. Next, I would try to make my way out the back door before the robbery started. Would I draw my gun to protect myself in the store? No, I think this would be very risky. My hand would be on my gun in my pocket, but I would not draw it now. A policeman on the outside of the store may see me draw my weapon through the window and shoot me. I have a cousin who is a retired policeman. Once he got a call of a home invasion. He went to the house where he saw through a window someone pulling a gun on the inside of the house. He thought they were going to shoot a resident of the house. He shot to death the person he saw drawing the gun. The person he shot did happen to be the bad guy in this case. In a store robbery, if a robber intended to shoot me, I would certainly shoot first. However, I would understand that I would be taking a risk that someone could think I was the robber. I would not want to take a chance of a policeman seeing and shooting me. The only way I would draw my gun is if I thought the criminal was coming in my direction and I had to shoot quickly to save my life. I have no intention of being a hero in a situation like this. I plan on going home without any problems. If you are in a shooting, there is always the risk that someone could think you are the bad guy. That person could return fire at you. This is another reason to avoid a gunfight. I read another self-defense first-person story. The good guy in this encounter stated that he and his wife were in a restaurant eating. He noticed a man come up to the cash register and believed the man had a gun in his pocket. This person even described the manufacturer and type of weapon he thought the bad guy had. I found that hard to believe. The good guy said he was smiling because he and his wife had guns. He was looking forward to a shootout with the criminal if he robbed the restaurant. I thought this good guy was insane. Let's say the good guy, his wife, and the bad guy each had pistols with 15 rounds in them. If the guy at the cash register had been a bad guy and a shootout started, what would have happened? What if all three people had fired their guns? They would have fired 45 rounds. 45 rounds fired in a crowded restaurant, not to mention bullets flying through thin sheetrock walls. How many innocent bystanders would have died? If I really believed that some person or persons were robbing a restaurant, here's what I would do. I would toss money on the table, say a $20 bill, to pay for my meal. Then I would get up and leave the restaurant before the robbery started. When I go into a restaurant, I try to sit as far away from the cash register as possible. I like to sit near one of those emergency exits. If a robbery started, I would merely get up and head out the back exit. I realize an alarm would probably be set off. However, I would be so far from the restaurant, a robber could not do anything to me. Here's something else that a highly recognized self-defense expert recommends you do. He says he carries a $5 bill in his pocket. He does this to throw on the ground in case someone acts like they're coming to molest him. My experience in Richmond with thugs is that that would offend them. They feel powerful by taking something from you. If you just throw down a small amount of money, they're insulted. I feel that this action could probably do more harm than good. Think of their psychological motivation as being the same as the person who raped someone. If a man just wanted sex, he could hire a prostitute. However, men who rape women want to take something from them. They do not want you to give them something small and insignificant. A thug does not want $5 thrown at his feet. He wants to take everything you have.